Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Bhagwan Shri Yogi Ramsuratkumar ki Jai. Sarvam Yogi Ramsuratkumar Arpanamastu. Submit our prayer at the feet of Bhagwan. I would like to bring to your notice something that happened, something that was narrated. We do not know when they happened, probably around that time or much before that. Two incidents, very simple but very pointed. The first thing is, one Nateshji, a long-term devotee, had come to Tiruvannamalai with his parivar, his wife and other family members. They had a severe problem at home, a problem that was occupying them day and night, and with great agitation and agony, they had all rushed to Yogi Ramsuratkumar in Tiruvannamalai. He received them and they all sat around him, and then each one started to say what they felt about the problem, and they spoke with great feeling. And as everybody finished saying that, Bhagwan was listening to the various aspects of the problem and their agitation, their feelings, their panic, and finally said, "So what? Do you understand?" The way he said it, so what? They were here, there was a very grave problem, and each one was voicing out their grievances and their feelings very strongly. And after all that he said was, so what? Treat a small matter as a small matter. Do not make it big. Even the big matters, the big problems, if you treat them as though they are small ones, they will solve and dissolve soon. But even the smallest things, people can make mountain, and they can go on building upon it, ruining themselves and others in the process. So this is what they all learned. And Mrs. Nateshji, Sharada, said when she had come here, she said it very beautifully. Swami that day gave us one more mantra, a new mantra. Whenever problems come, like the waves in the ocean, they will keep coming. All we have to say is, so what? This so what is a mantra which I repeat whenever I come across a problem, and then I find myself peaceful and the problem also getting solved soon without much ado. The second on is, there is a devotee very much devoted to Bhagwan. His name is Srinivas, and he's from Villivakkam, Chennai. When he heard that Bhagwan's declaration, those who come to the ashram will not go back empty-handed, he wanted to test it. He took it very literally, physically. He wanted to test it, and if possible, he wanted to prove against it and report to Bhagwan. So he came with a challenging attitude. He came with his wife and children. He dropped his children and his wife at Ramanashram and came to Yogi Ramsuratkumar Ashram. It was the afternoon time. After food, people would generally go away, and there will be very, very few people in the ashram. So he chose that particular time to come in, and then he came in a hurry. He came across the trustee of the ashram. Immediately he dumped some money, whatever money he had, into his hands and said, "You can give me the receipt later." He seemed to be in a great hurry because he wanted to get back before anybody gave him prasadam. So he ran inside and then ran out. And when he was about to reach for the gate of the ashram, without any prasad in hand, suddenly a man appeared from the right side. He was wearing a green shirt. He came running to him and put something in his hand saying that this is Bhagwan's prasad. Bhagwan wanted to give you this. And then ran away. He was stunned. Srinivasan was stunned, and then he just opened his hand and saw a small mango, unripe mango. And then, you can imagine his plight now, how he would have felt. He was totally overwhelmed. Of course, he was so near the gate, he came out, and then immediately he came inside again. And then he ran to the office and inquired people, where is the man who came and gave this prasad in my hand? He was wearing a green shirt. They all said, we have not seen anyone here with green shirt. No, some of those workers, do they wear green shirt? No. It is only much later the rule came in the ashram that all the workers must wear green shirts. But at that time, when Srinivasanji was testing Bhagavan's statement, nobody wore green shirt. So everybody said, we have not seen anyone like that. And again he was overwhelmed. He knew it was Bhagwan getting the better of the situation. That Bhagwan was teaching something great to him. Never doubt any of his statements. And of course, it's not just physical prasadam that Bhagwan meant. The place is full of his grace, full of his shakti. So those who enter and be here even for a minute, they would be able to feel something of this peace. Many people had told me, with great problems, agitation and despair, they would enter the ashram, but as soon as they came inside, the mind would become very quiet. And they felt blessed. So, we are now seated in such a place. We are singing the name from the very shrine of Bhagwan, filled with His grace and Shakti. And every declaration of Bhagwan is true, even on the physical level and in depths. So let us offer our prayer, knowing that His Nama is doing the work. The prayer that we are offering at His feet are also working on. Bhagwan. So before we offer our prayers at the lotus feet of Bhagwan, I would like to bring to your attention a particular incident which took place in 1979. America had sent a Skylab up there, and there was a heavy rumor everywhere that it was going to fall down. And according to the calculations of all those scientists, the experts, that it was going to fall at the location where Chennai is situated. The Americans predicted that it would fall over Chengalpattu. The Russians predicted that it would be somewhere to the north of Ennur. What a meticulous prediction. And so, it was July 12th, 1979, and Swami was seated there in the veranda of Sanadi Street House. There were about 10 to 12 people, all IAS, IPS, the police higher officials, and the administrators, the high administrators. One devotee by name Sri Tiruvannamalai from Kovilpatti. He happened to be there with Swami on that particular day. He was also sitting with them. There was a small transistor in front of Bhagwan which was announcing, describing the Skylab, its functioning, and how it was going to fall down, and at what time, everything. So a few minutes before its fall, Swami was asking everybody there, what do you think? Where do you think the Skylab would fall? And each one had something to say. They mentioned some place in Chennai because their guess was based upon what the scientists had predicted. So each one had to say something. And they all agreed that it was going to fall on Chennai, and that's why they were worried, and that's why they were there with Bhagwan. Then Bhagwan, with a radiant face, announced, my father is looking after India from eternity to eternity. No harm will come to India or its people. You will see the Skylab would fall only in the ocean, not on the land. There will be no damage, no harm to the land or the people. My father has been protecting India from eternity to eternity. He would see to it. So minutes after, there was this announcement on the transistor. So this particular incident, when Swami was announcing that the Skylab would fall only in the ocean, Tirumalai, who was seated there, was thinking, what is this? The Swami is saying something. All those experts, scientists are predicting with all their calculations exactly where it would fall, but the Swami is saying something. Minutes after, when this announcement was made that the Skylab had fallen exactly as predicted by Bhagwan, Tirumalai instantly understood that Bhagwan, that Swami, that beggar was no beggar, no just Swami, he was the cosmic controller. When Sri Tirumalai from Kovilpatti came to the ashram, I think it was 2010 or 11, we were talking to each other. At the time, I was saying that Bhagwan often said, when he would be in a certain mood, he would declare, unmindful of the people around, I am the cosmic controller. I run the whole cosmos. I alone exist. There is nothing else, no one else. So when I was describing this to Tirumalai, he mentioned this incident, and later, when people were sharing their experiences on the mic in celebration of Aradhana Day, he spoke about it to all those people present. He said, Amma, whatever you say is absolutely true, because I was the first-hand witness to what happened. I saw with what ease Bhagwan controlled everything and how everything happened exactly to his prediction, to the very letter. it is true that he is the cosmic controller. Bhagwan, from time to time, was declaring it. So we shall submit our prayer today at the lotus feet of this cosmic controller. For some reason, it is the divine that has sent this virus, and the whole world seems to be in the terrible grip of this virus, suffering in agony. This is also part of the divine plan. We do not know what cleansing has taken place. As we see already how nature is responding, how the animal kingdom is responding to the situation. So there must be some cosmic balance. This is what Bhagwan said. From time to time, that Father would send something to restore cosmic balance. So we shall pray to Bhagwan. Today, before we submit our prayers at the lotus feet of our Bhagwan, I would like to bring a symbolic demonstration, a Leela, enacted by Bhagwan in the Sannadhi Street house. There was one Srividhya, a Ramana devotee, who was also equally devoted to Yogi Ramsuratkumar, would often go to Sannadhi Street with cooked food. And one day she had cooked Upma just for 2 people and took it there to Sannadhi Street house. It was only early morning, but even then some 12 people were there. And then she was thinking, okay, Swami would send them away. After that I could give this breakfast to him. And she was waiting. Swami would accept food from her. So she was waiting, hoping that he would call her. He did call her, but she said, Amma, we will all go inside. I would like you to serve the food that you have brought for all of us. And she was thinking, my God, what would I do? There are hardly enough for 2 people, and there are 12 plus 1, 13 people here. But then it was not for her to worry, but to do as Swami said. And so she started to serve them all. And she found that to everybody's satisfaction, there was enough food. The food was growing and growing until the last one was served. And Swami also took some in his coconut shell. So she knew that it was Swami who was an Akshaya Patra. The Swami's grace also would grow like that to suit a situation, to suit the people around. And again, another day when she was there, she didn't take any food that day, but there was another lady who brought a carrier with food, and about 12 o'clock, when it was past noon, Swami said, you can serve this beggar. So that lady who brought the food started to serve. Bhagwan took his coconut shell. She put some rice there and poured some sambar. And that is when Srimati Vidya understood that sambar was spoiled. It was beginning to stink. But Swami did not seem to mind at all. After eating a little bit, he said, what else have you brought? And that lady said, payasam. Okay, you pour some payasam into this. And then over that, she poured some payasam also. And when she finished that, there were many cashew nuts floating in that. So Srimati Vidya was very happy. Swami would be able to eat some eat some cashew nuts. So when she was watching, to her dismay, Swami called her and began to give cashew nuts one after the other. He would not even give it to the lady who had brought it. He called only Mrs. Vidya and gave one cashew nut after the other. After that was finished, he asked that lady who had brought the food to pour some sambar over it. God knows what kind of mixture, a sambar mixed with payasam, and sambar spoiled. She poured some, and this time, with the sambar, many chilies also had come. Some 12 of them were floating there. Then Srimati Vidya was very worried. Swami was going to call her and give all those chilies. She was not supposed to eat any chili, but here was 12 or 13 of them, and Swami might choose to give her all that. When she was worried, to her horror, Swami began to take one chili after the other. He just popped them into his mouth, one after the other, and finished all the 12, 13 of them. Looked at her and smiled. And Srimati Vidya knew instantly that Swami was doing this demonstration to convey a certain point to her. She had come with her head filled with many, many problems she was suffering from. So this was his way of saying that I have eaten up all the chilies of your life and given you only the cashew nuts instead. This is a lesson for all of us, a demonstration, a Leela meant to give this teaching lesson. And again, when we were in breakfast hut, Mrs. Rajalakshmi Mani would give a bunch of flowers, hibiscus flowers to Swami. It would be only 7 or 8 at the most, but sometimes there would be 15 or 20 people around. And Swami would start to give one to each of us, and somehow or the other, there was always flower for everybody. And there would be one left behind in his hands. So the flowers were growing in his hand, just as the Upma grew out of the vessel. It only again shows symbolically how his kindness, his grace is ever flowing, like Akshaya Patra. To such a Swami, the glorious Bhagwan, our beloved Bhagwan, we shall submit the prayer now. Bhagwan, today, before we submit the prayer at the feet of Bhagwan, we have to learn a lofty truth about the conduct, about the run of the cosmos. Yesterday, I was making this point that Bhagwan said that he is the cosmic controller, that he runs the whole cosmos, and if anything happens out of turn in this world, it's only to restore the cosmic balance. Everything happens only by his divine will, and whatever happens is perfect. Why? God is perfect. And whatever happens is necessary for this world, in some way or the other. And what is more, it's coming from the divine, and therefore it is a great blessing. We may not understand how it is a blessing now, but soon enough the time will prove that. Some cosmic balance is going on, and whatever happens is perfect. All the same, we are suffering, and our begging for relief from Bhagwan is as natural as what is happening in this world today. So we shall keep offering our prayers at his feet, invoking his boundless grace. Only that could right the situation. So, there is a story, a very interesting and beautiful story. When Bhagwan was making these comments again and again and again, there was one devotee there in Sannadi Street House who very much doubted the wisdom of the statement. He was thinking, so much disharmony, so much violence, so much injustice in the world, so much chaos. And Swami here is declaring there is only order and harmony. Whatever happens, happens only by the divine will, and it's perfect. How can you understand this? So when he voiced it out, Bhagavan told this devotee, your brother is studying to be a doctor. This beggar would like you to go there, ask him to take you to the anatomy hall. You go see the cadavers there for dissection. Will you do it? It was very strange that Swami should make this request. Though he could not see any connection, he knew better than doubting the wisdom of his statement. By his very experience with Swami. So he said yes. And then he went to see his brother who is studying to be a doctor. And then he told him, please take me to the anatomy hall. The doctor brother objected to it. He said, what are you saying? It's a dissection cloth, and if you are not used to it, you will faint. You'll be frightened by the sight and you will faint. He said, no, please take me there. So very decisively, when he said that, brother took him there, and the first thing that he saw was a full abdominal section open. And then what he saw inside, the congested, all parts in the abdomen were placed so closely to each other, it looked like a traffic jam. It looked so congested. He said, why? Why would God do this? Why is it so congested? They're so close to each other. Then the brother smiled, the doctor brother smiled. Oh, you don't understand. If any one of these, it is perfect as it is, as created by God. If any one of these parts should move even 1 millimeter from its place, there will be severe pain experienced by the body. There will be a shock, there will be a pain, there will be something far wrong with the body, with the health of the body. It is perfect as it is, and it's meant for health of the body. When he heard it, he understood the truth, the wisdom of Swami's statement. So even the seeming disharmonies of the world are a definite part of greater harmony. There is no doubt about it. The chaos, the atrocities, the evil, it's all well placed by God in His Leelas. And it's all meant for the welfare of the humanity. It is meant for a greater harmony. It's meant for cosmic balance. Knowing this, we can still appeal to the boundless compassion of Bhagwan, because our prayer is as natural as the suffering. We want relief, and invoking grace for relief is also perfect. So let us make our prayer, Bhagwan,